Hey, hello, and welcome to another Quarkus Club YouTube live video. My name is Gurzi Souza, I'm your host, and today we have a special guest, someone that we are long waiting and long asking. I'm going to bring him here. Hello, hey, Max Andersen. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. Just back from PCO, so
All right,
let's see if
nice.
I remember anything. So it'll be good.
So, thank you again for you for being here, right? Behalf of all the Quarkus group, thank you for your time, for your presentation. Again, as I was saying, right? Long time requested. And if you're watching us live, feel free to to write where you're from or where you're based. And of course, feel free to ask a question for Mark Anderson. And if you're not aware about the Quarks Club, you can search Quarks Club on Meetup or Discord, right? We're going to find that. And Max is there, so you can go there and poke him, tag him. I'm sure he's going to be happy to help you and your questions. Right? So I
Mhm.
will leave you with Max now and enjoy, guys. And feel free to put questions. If you shine with in English or if you want to type Portuguese questions, I do my best to translate on fly. Let's see how it goes.
No problem.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hi all, and yeah, I just want to say I heard about Quarkus Club like when you guys started all up, and I've been very heavy supporter and looking forward to all the stuff you guys are doing. And yeah, so well, let's get started with the thing, and as Igor was saying, just ask away, and we'll kind of do it. I have a presentation, but feel free to interrupt and ask questions about it. Let's make this a back and forth. So yeah, well, I'm Max Andersen, as he says. I'm a co-lead on Quarkus. I've been doing that for about almost 5 years now. And I know you've had like talks about Quarkus and why it's good and why it's bad, or what it can be used for, and that kind of thing. So this is a bit of a different talk about what I call the hidden features and forbidden extensions. And that means we'll talk about things that some of the stuff you might know, but I'm pretty sure some of the stuff I'll tell you haven't seen or haven't touched, unless for some reason you've seen me doing this talk before. And just as a fun of it, and this is because the first time I did this conference was actually a very Oracle founded talk, and they like to do these warnings about be careful, don't trust what I'm saying, that kind of thing. I am going to present different ideas which are very new and young, so they are in the space of Quarkus, but they might be young and let's call them baby-like. And some of the features are rock on and awesome and already ready to go. And others might be old and worn out and weird, but they still are rock stars. And so yeah, so anyway, this is a serious presentation with a tongue of cheek. So I hope you'll take it with that and learn something. But if something seems crazy, don't blame me if it blows up on you. But you'll see in a few minutes what I mean. So well, first of all, Quarkus, our supersonic subatomic framework, which does a lot of things and try and make, or not even try, I think have already succeeded in making Java really, let's call it, make Java compete again, especially in these container days or fast startup times you want to do. But as you'll see here, one of the things I feel that we do really, really well, and one of the reasons I'm very keen on Quarkus, is all the developer experience and help and aid we can do with very little means because of the way we've designed Quarkus. So I will start out, oh, there we go, by talking about the command line interface. So some of you, if you try and go and get the Getting Started guide of Quarkus, you'll be introduced to the command line. which is a command line you can install with SDKman, JBang, Choco, Brew, all different ways out there. And the most common commands you can do is like Quarkus create app, which is what you use to create your first application. There's also Quarkus test, which is a feature we added because when we had what we call dev mode to start up Quarkus and experiment with, they were like, hey, we don't like dev mode because then you don't do testing. So we added this thing called continuous testing in Quarkus where you can run your tests incrementally. But with Quarkus tests, people they don't want to run dev mode, but you can also run Quarkus tests on the side, and it will just run tests for you. So you can have a Quarkus running, write code, and you see the test fail automatically for you. Other command that's recent is like Quarkus config. So being able to set and encrypt configuration. And then there's commands like image and deploy, which are like specific commands to deployment. And again, I'm not going to show them in detail here, but just make you aware of the CLI that has these commands that helps you getting started. And also, doing development, doing things. The hidden part is maybe the ability to extend the command line interface. So you can actually go and get extensions for or plugins, as we call them, for the CLI from different sources. So if there was I think like 3-4 months ago, we added, or even longer, Helm support. So if you add the extension Quarkus Helm, or some of these others, they actually will provide a CLI. So once you install this extension, you can run Quarkus Helm install and get a Helm deployment for you. And if you go back here, you'll see there's no Helm command in this default. So the Helm command gets added automatically with this extension. And similarly, you can run shell scripts. So if you have used something like Docker or Go or Git, they have this feature where if you add something to the path called like the command something, it becomes available as a plugin or as a command you can run. So if you want that, you can actually also write shell scripts and put in the path of your developers, and Quarkus will be able to install them and pick them up for you. And one of the more advanced one is there's also JBang scripts. So if you don't know JBang is a thing I created a while ago to make it easy to run Java code. So here I'm doing a specific thing. I'm saying, hey, let me add the kill command, which I'll show you in a few seconds what it does. But the kill command here is in a catalog. That catalog is just a JSON file. These are JBang things, but you'll see there's a command here called kill that is just a Java file that has some dependencies defined up here. And then it's a Pico CLI command you can run. So you go like, okay, what can I use that for? But let me go up. Where is my, I need to get my terminal here. It's gone. There, right? So I'm just gonna do my little demo here. And I'm just gonna say to a create app. Oh, let me just zoom in a bit here so you guys can see it. There we go. So I'm just gonna I already created that. It's already there. Right, so I can go and see Quarkus dev. It starts up my project, and all is good. Well, let's say I'm now in the same or another application. Again, I'll need to zoom in so you guys can see it. If I now on Quarkus dev, I should get an error saying something that, hey, this is not really running. Port is already taken. And so what I can do is I can run Quarkus kill. So assume I've done If I run Quarkus kill and I don't have it, we'll install it for you. If in here, I'm just going to do Quarkus kill. And again, it's a command. It's not there by default, but it will fetch it. And now, in what this one does, is it goes and kill that application, and you'll see now it got killed on this other side. And now I can start the application again. So that's a very small, just little idea of things you can do by extending the Quarkus command line. So we have, I think it's kill. We have also formatting, Quarkus FMT. So you format your files with the standard Quarkus thing. But it's just something people are not much aware they actually can do. And this is what I want to do with them. Make it so that you're aware that you can actually write these scripts and you can share them for anyone to use. Or you can even make it part of an extension if you're an extension writer for Quarkus. So yeah, there is a blog about CLI and how it can be extended in all these different ways. If you didn't know about it, do try it out and do share the scripts and tools you make, because that's what makes it all fun. Sorry. So beyond extending the CLI with cool things on your own, there are a few things that again people might not be fully aware of. Is when you update Quarkus, there is a Quarkus update tool. This is a thing we added back in Quarkus 3 times. So for those who are in Quarkus 2, and by the way, if you're there, please write in the chat if you're using Quarkus 2 or 3 or something else. The main thing from 2 to 3 was going from Java X Java EE to Jakarta EE. And here's a lot of package names you have to rename. And that was a tedious thing. So we say, hey, we need to have a story and a good one to migrate forward. And also because Quarkus release very often. So we have a release every month, and we even have patches in between. And we want to make that a common thing that's easy to do. So therefore, we made this Quarkus update tool. So you can update from 2 to 3, which is the big part. But you can also update from 3x to some later 3x. So if you write Quarkus update string equals 3, you get the latest from the 3 string. And that's kind of all there is to it. It uses Open Rewrite, if some of you might have known. So you can actually write your own Open Rewrite scripts. But it is not intended, it is intended that Quarkus kind of update all the native stuff for you. And if something is missing, we can always extend it, and you can open issues or submit pull requests that will use Open Rewrite to do these updates. I did show Quarkus Dev a little bit, so you can always use Maven or Gradle or even Jbang if you're into that one to run Quarkus Dev mode. But there is Quarkus Dev, which I like because I try out a lot of different products, and they use a Maven and Gradle, and I'm like, which one is which? I don't have to care about. But especially in Gradle, there is a thing that when you use hotkeys, Gradle takes over, or rather doesn't allow tools like Quarkus to give you hotkeys. If you use Quarkus Dev, that will work. So if you are a Gradle user, I do recommend to try Quarkus Dev as a way to get a bit more nicer experience. But you can still use Quarkus Dev if you want to. But anyway, Quarkus Dev just kind of unifies how you start these things. And since we talk about dev mode and shortcuts, well, first on the right side here of the screen, you see a cup, which is actually a cup that does exist. You can get, there's a link down here. We don't make any money of this. This is just something made available for fun. It has all the different shortcuts you have in dev mode. And let me just show you. Where was my? It was here. I'm just gonna run this here. So when you're in dev mode, you can, of course, just go to your browser and enter localhost if you want to. I'm very lazy, so I just click W. You couldn't see it here, but I press W, and it opens up my dev mode app. And this is an old version of Quarkus. I can even go and here. There we go. Click D, and I get into dev mode, which is where we can see these different UIs. And then the answer is, where can I get the cup? Well, the link I have in the slides gets you to a place where you can order it if you want to. And let me just try it, because I didn't actually notice that this was actually an old. This is like 302. So let me just try. I haven't. This is completely untested. But let's just see if Quarkus update actually will work on this application. So now I'm running Quarkus update, and it's gonna look in the registry Quarkus. This is where we have a place where we can see all the different ones, and you see this was failing. Oh yeah, I'm running a mix of products. All right, it was a chance to take, but normally on a normal clean setup, not a mixed one as I have, Quarkus update will fetch dependencies, update the POM XML, any code that has to be updated that we can automatically handle for you will then happen. Okay, another thing that's on the cup, but also worth mentioning, is, let me try and make this it'll boot up again. So I started up and I'm like, oh, I need to do an edit. If I press X, that doesn't work. Let me actually I'm gonna delete the old one. Here you go. Create a new one. Oh, that didn't work either. Demo effect. Let me go to my own little demo here. Here we go. Yes, now I'm in a different project. I'll show in a few seconds when it starts up. So it started up. If I press X, it actually boots up the project I'm in. Here we go. That's the one. And up it's running. And I'll just go to, I'll add a little thing here. So, for example, I'll explain later what it does, but for example, if you want to go, there's this on startup. If I go and throw an exception in the command line here, let me go and kill it here so you can see it instead. I lost my terminal. Here we go. All right, let's run it again. So I have the code here that throws an exception on startup. So once it starts up, it should show an error. And now if I click X, it actually gets me to that line that this is going on. And if I move it back, fixed again. So anyway, the X act will open it will try and detect an IDE. I have multiple IDEs here because it gets a bit confused. But with X, it will get either open the IDE on your project or take the latest exception and try and locate the file and get to where the issue is. Okay. And back to my. There we go. So yeah, so there's different. There's also like force restart, toggle log levels, and that kind of thing. Yeah, get the copy if you want to, or just look up dev mode shortcuts. You can see all these differences that are there. Oh, I should remember to show you that one. If you actually press H, here we go. Oh, this is that one is killing me. Here we go. Yeah, let's go and kill whatever was running. And start up. Yeah, if you press H, you can see the different commands. So if you don't want to buy the cup, you can see it in help. Like resume testing, dev services, which we'll get into in a few minutes. Woven WI, etc., etc. Okay. So that's the cup. Let me find you. There you are. And to answer Jan's question, if you look at this link here, once you get the slides, there's a place you can buy the cup if you want to. Okay, well, so Quarkus is more than just the core. It is a ton of different extensions. So here's an AI perception of Quarkus and all its extensions. And we call that the Quarkus. So the Quarkus is all the extensions that are related to Quarkus. We also have a thing called Quarkus Hub, which is where we make it easy for people to publish the extensions. Because you could also add all this to core Quarkus, but then you have to align releases all the time. It would be very slow. So we want to make it easy for people to add and maintain their own extensions. And we actually recently it's like half a year now, made a dedicated site for this, extension Quarkus.io, where you can see these different extensions. So here we are now at 707 different extensions of all kind of things. And okay, that's interesting. We'll see most recently released, apparently Quinoa and the JavaFX extension is the latest one that's been released. And you can also see which ones are most downloaded, which should be like Mutiny and core extensions, not surprising. You can see there's AI, and you'll see which one's the most downloaded there, right? And you go like, well, how does this relate to Quarkus, for example? But if I, for example, go and say, hey, I want the AI, I want to do Olama, and I say, so I can see all these details about the guides, etc. Let's try the extension, and this is maybe something you used before, Quarkus. Quarkus always looks at a specific version of Quarkus, and that's why we made a new one, because we can't show everything here, because if we added everything, it might not be compatible with the version of Quarkus you're targeting, and that's the difference between them. So core Quarkus is specifically for a specific version, and extensions is for everything, anywhere at any time. Cool. Oops. So, well, now let's get to more of these extensions and actually make an app that does something interesting. So, since we are in 2024, the cool thing, of course, is to make a bot of some sort. So we're gonna write a bot written in Quarkus, and it's gonna have some AI, because otherwise you can't make a presentation these days. But no, we actually have what we call a way to infuse AI into applications, so that from Java you can talk with LLMs out there. So we have a bot that has some kind of intelligence that I can just kind of write up fairly easily. I want to have GitHub to talk to my app, right? And that app is running on my laptop. So I want it to, then when an issue is created or an issue is commented, I want this bot to do something. But that's, of course, a challenge, because if GitHub is hosted on the big bad internet, how do I get my application out there? I can, of course, go get deployed to Amazon or Cluster or something, but I don't have time for that, or I don't have a budget, or I'm not allowed to do it. I just want to have it locally and in my control. So there's an extension called ngrok. Ngrok is a service that is running online that allows you it will set up a secure tunnel for you, host a URL that you can give to anyone to demo your application, or in this case, I can set up GitHub to notify me via webhook that something happened. Right? That's the standard way of how a bot works. But with ngrok, I can do the same thing, but just on my local machine. And then on top of that, I want to be able to send email. And email is hard to do these days, even if you have access to Gmail. Especially if I'm doing some testing, I might not want to disturb people. And therefore, there's a great little add-on to Quarkus called MailPit, which lets you proxy, like basically have a fully running SMTP server that you can send emails to and investigate. And yeah, that's the thing I want to make happen. Right? So lots of details, but just to give an idea of what we want to do. And let's go and get that up and running for you. So I'll show that first. So this is actually the app running on my machine here, I think. Was not running? Maybe not. Let's do Quarkus dev. And it starts up. There we go. Oh, there's something running. So I'm just going to use my Quarkus kill command again. And there we go. And it should show up again. So this is one nice thing with Quarkus. This doesn't take a lot of time to boot up. And I still have. I'm just going to try and be very aggressive now. -9 will. Let's see if I can keep killing it. There we go. So that Quarkus kill command is very useful when you're doing demos. There we go. So now we have that. And this is the front page of the app. Say JCon bot, because JCon was where I did this demo the first time. And there's a repository here. I'm going to copy the link. And in this repository, this is just a playground. There's a bunch of issues. If you want to play along, you're happy to try and grab that URL and jump in. But let's see what's running. So first of all, I'm gonna just kill the app just for 2 seconds, and I'm just gonna make a test issue. Is this thing on? And now we just see nothing is happening. So I'm gonna go back and start it up. And there we go, it's running. And I'm going to create a new issue. I'm going to say, what is Quarkus? I need help to use Quarkus. Just to do something. Right? And now you should see in a few seconds, oh, there's a few eyes that gets on. And then if I'm lucky and everything is perfectly working, then you should get a comment in a few seconds. And you'll see here, hey there, Quarkus Club, awesome initiative by Quarkus community. Long story short, and then it talked about JBang and Quarkus, and this is maybe Max responding, right? And you go like, hey, what just happened, right? So what happened was, I have, you'll see here it says ngrok is started. So this is now being exposed on the URL. And literally the only thing I did to do this was add the ngrok extension. Then it will start up and have this automatically. And with that extension, I'm gonna go to dev mode here. You see there's an ngrok tab where you can see the details. There's a public URL, which if I go to that one, is at the same page I had before, but instead of localhost, it's now this commercially just Gazelle ngrok URL. And you can do stuff like see all the requests that comes in. Right? So remember, this is it's kind of like a proxy that shows up between me and GitHub. So I can see all the different requests coming in and, see what kind of stuff that, be able to debug the traffic. And on top of that, we had this thing where it started doing the responding to my issue. And again, this is the GitHub bot framework we have for Quarkus. Again, you add the extension, and the only line of code I had to do, besides some configuration here about the bot name I need it for debugging, is I have code that says if it's the bot, then return, because if the bot keeps responding to its own questions or comments, it's going to be an infinite loop. I have an assistant. We'll get back to that, how that works, but just imagine there's an assistant that can give an answer. I go and add the eyes, which are the little two eyes we saw pop up. And then I literally just says, hey, add a comment, which is the assistant trying to answer. And once that is done, we're going to delete the eyes. Okay. So that's what you see in that flow. And I promise you, this is the amount of code you have to do to add a comment. And react to comments in with Quarkus development setup. And yeah, so that's the cool part. So where's my issue here, right? And even better is so what you saw here is like maybe Max responded, and I can go like, okay, so I like to use, I don't know, PHP. Can I use that with Quarkus? Again, just trying to come up with dumb questions. And we get you'll see here again, it should pop up with eyes. It'll come with a response. You'll see here now it's saying before it was replying as Max, now it's Einstein. I'll come back to that, how that works. And the delay you see here is because it has to go to the LM and get it back. And you see, this is like a very complicated response from this not Einstein figure. Right, so how does that work? Well, this is the line chain feature that we have. And you saw I had this like random assistant, which again, I'm just doing this for a demo of having different assistants I can do. And you see I have these assistants, which are, there's a Max Andersen assistant here who says, you're a helpful software developer with a tendency to use two smiley face and exclamation marks. I was a big fan of Quarkus and JBang, can't make an answer without somehow relate to it. So you saw that in the comment that it was talking about JBang and Quarkus. And Einstein, for example, is this, like everything is always complex when you reply, etc. And we have also Demetrius, which is a manager who always referred to something in Greek. And that's the thing that makes us have the bot with some, some tasks to do. In this case, answering questions with a specific behavior. And the only thing you do here is, you have an interface, say register AI service, which allows us to get these assistants. And then you remember when we did the try answer, there was like the title, the body, the issue, because every time you have to kind of send the result back and forth to the LM. We here then actually can refer to that as a queue template. So this will actually say send this text here plus this thing rendered. So it'll say the title from the title, the author, body. In this case, I'm iterating the comments. So you can get quite verbose. And then again, that's the, I don't know how much lines of code is this, like 20, where most of it's just a string. And these 4 or 5 lines, then you actually have a bot up and running that can do things for you. And since we're on the topic of line chain, there is like again these tiles, and you'll see, for example, we'll see how much of these that works. I can see which services I have. So those Einstein, Demetrius, Max Andersen. I can see I don't have any tools that it's doing, but I can also chat with the bot myself. Right. So I can give. I don't have RAG, but anyway, I can ask a question. Let me do this thing. Let's do the images instead. Make a logo for Quarkus Club. Okay. I have no idea what to do, but this is just using the line chain on the fly, doing development for you to try out these things. And Okay, not the greatest logo, but it's one that is there. But the same thing is, if you use LangChain4j and the Quarkus stuff we do, there are these development environments inside DevUI that you can try things with. You don't have to stop Quarkus, try things out, or you can literally do it inside Quarkus and use the hot dev and change code and just try out all this there. Oh yeah, and then the thing you can do, like say, what is Quarkus? Let's just send a question. You will be able to see what comes back in the result. Oh, this is a long setup. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to do was handle email. So when we had this, where was it? Let me go to here. I have comment create, but there's also issue create, and then there's comments on an issue. And you didn't notice it, but there's a slight difference to it. You'll see here there is unopen this issue. I can also then do on issue comment, which is a different payload. And it works the same. But instead of just replying, it also sends an email. So it says mail, set from, set to, set a subject, etc. Right? And this is just standard Quarkus how you send emails. You add the mailer, and then now you have access to that setup. But you notice that I have no configuration inside my application property except some OpenAI chat model and timeout to avoid it running, breaking. There's no email or that kind of setup, and that's because I have the mail pit service running. And if you start, I'm just gonna stop and start again. You'll see there's some Docker command line stuff wishing by here. That's because it's starting up. It's saying, "Hey, you using mail, but you have no configuration for a destination. So we will start up a mail pit instance for you." Same thing if you had added Postgres driver or Hibernate setup. We will go like, "Hey, if you have not configured anything, we will set up a development environment." So we have stuff like Postgres, Kafka, etc., and in this case also SMTP mail. And now, of course, I just restarted, so there's no state in here, but you'll see I have mail pit here. There's a port I can send email to, and if I go, I can see the mailbox. There's nothing there, so I'm just going to go and add a comment here saying, "Can you try playing that again? Simpler. Let's just try this." Right. So now I'm adding a comment, which will find an agent and reply. You see, it's replying as Max this time, and it'll come back. And we said that agent was, a fan of JBang and Quarkus, so there should be something there. Maybe Max. No JBang this time. I'm disappointed. Okay, but anyway, we can now go to MailPit. Oops, there we go, and see the comment. And now I can inspect the email. So this is a very stupid, simple email, but imagine you had like HTML or something more complicated. You could use this to try things out without disturbing anyone's email, or have to send an email, wait for the email to arrive, and check it. Here you have it in place directly. Okay. Another thing I wanted to show, but let's see if this works, is, of course, we have this HTML page. This was the beautiful, beautiful page here. Says, "Welcome to JConBot." That's, of course, an error mistake. And if I go and now change this to Quarkus Club, you will see down here that actually automatically restarted, which is not what we normally do. if we change Java code in Quarkus, we don't restart unless there's a request. But as we got more and more into doing like HTML and stuff, we were a bit tired. We couldn't reload pages. So we have that now. If you add a thing called Web Bundler, it will actually. You see, I didn't actually reload here. It actually went. It did it on its own. Welcome to Quarkus Club. I'm just gonna go back and do the CSS here, and for example, change it to a lovely red. Right, and if I go over here, it's there. And if I go back and change it to green, just there you go. It automatically reloads. And that is Web Bundler. And I'll get to in a few seconds how it works, but just to show that you can actually do basic front-end development with a basic Quarkus, and we can automatically detect changes, HTML, CSS, and then reload that part application without having to trigger a full restart, which is very useful for front-end development. Okay, that's very pretty. So let me go back to the slide. So anyway, that was that was the app very quickly running through. I used the GitHub app extension to do the integration for listen to events. There's and you might, I didn't actually set up anything. The only thing I did set up was to tell GitHub where my endpoint is. That's it. Everything else was kind of pre-configured. LangChain for the AI, ngrok for being able to be reached locally, MailPit for the mail stuff, and Web Bundler I showed briefly for the reloading thing. And yeah, LangChain is pretty rocking and stable now. We had been going since November. In this case, I use OpenAI. It can also be using any local model. I was actually trying to get a local Llama running on my little laptop I have on a server, but I didn't manage to do it before this. I came back from holiday. But you can actually use OpenAI, any of the managed services, or Llama or Podman AI or that kind of thing with it. So if you want to do AI stuff and trying with Java, do check out LangChain for J, especially the Quarkus LangChain, because makes it super easy to get started. There's the GitHub app. Again, create GitHub apps, and this is also a full-blown Rockstar. We're using it. If you contribute to Quarkus or you open an issue, you would have seen a bot comment or respond to things. It doesn't use the AI stuff, but it's a more hand-coded thing. But if you want to try it, look at Quarkus GitHub app. Pretty awesome if you're into GitHub. ngrok is this exposed to the internet. This is fairly new, but it works fairly slow. I use it constantly. As I said, you can monitor traffic, but just being able to try out stuff locally without having to use a full cloud setup is a game changer sometimes. But do be aware that you are exposing your port to the internet, so bad things could happen. But yeah, be aware. MailPit, again, old technology, but rock solid. Lets you do testing emails without having to do too much setup. And that Web Bundler, which is this thing where you take the HTML, CSS, and images and bundle up for you. We use ESBuild to avoid having to deal with NPM and JavaScript installations. And it gives you this live reload, which is pretty awesome. Which if you used Wildfly or JBoss App Server or others, they had that because they always dynamically serve. Where in Quarkus we've kind of not done that to give you speed, but that required us to restart. We restarted every time because we were fast. But with the Web Bundler, you no longer have to do the full restart for front end stuff like HTML and that kind of thing. And that brings me to the front end rainbow. which tongue in cheek is a word we use because we started to realize, hey, we have all Quarkus is doing all this backend stuff, but now people are doing the front end. They're asking like, how do we do React and Angular and all these kind of apps with you? And I have this visualization to try and show that if you start with basic HTML, like Quarkus, plain Quarkus has a Qt, which is this template engine that works really well in a Quarkus setting, allows you to do server-side rendering, and all is fine. You can do that perfectly out of plain Quarkus. If you then want to go into React and GraphQL and Router and Angular and that kind of thing, there's a project called Quinoa, which actually lets you use NPM or Yarn-based projects. And instead of having to start them separately and have like port conflicts or startup differences, Quarkus will take care of it. And so all the hot reload will work together. So when you change stuff on the front end, it will be reloaded. If changing on the back end, it will be reloaded. And it just gives a much better getting started experience, at least in my opinion. And on top of that, you can do it only for development, but you can also deploy it. So if you kind of tired of having to deploy the front and back end separately, with Quinoa, you can make that a thing where everything gets served out from the same stuff. And then the web bundler, which I showed a little bit of. And again, this is the same kind of idea, but instead of having to rely on NPM and all that stuff, we just let's call them standard or de facto standards, and it works with a ton of different frameworks, and it just gives an even faster setup and development experience that Quinoa and NPM can give you. And then at the end of, hey, I just want to do server-side stuff, we have Renard, which is a framework on top of Quarkus and Qt to do server-side rendering. Try it out. It's awesome. If you're into HTMX and heard about that, Renard is a good. It works pretty well with it. There's even JSF out there. So if you are doing JSF, done or used JSF in the past, JSF is excellent. It has great things. There are some things we don't support it in core and Quarkus, but in the community, there's the people who've done JSF for Prime Phaser, Rich Phaser, and a few others. So if you want to, you can. And there's even a Quarkus Insights about how to do this. And yeah, that's in one of the older ones. So Quarkus can do like a whole bunch of stuff on front end too. So there's the Qt server pages, or Qt web as we call it today, Renard and JSF. Client side, you can use Quinoa, which is NPM full. Web bundler, what I call NPM less. So it's the same kind of functionality, but using ESBuild to be really fast. And all this stuff can kind of be combined. And if you want to know more, there's a link to this Quarkus Insights. It's called the Front End Rainbow, which gives you an overview of all of these things. Again, I covered a lot of ground, but just give you a hint of all the stuff you can kind of do in a good way in Quarkus land. So what's the most forbidden and hidden front end? This is, again, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but this is real. You can actually use JavaFX and Quarkus. Yeah, this is definitely old technology, but this code here, if you use JavaFX, this should be something that you recognize. And you see the add inject is actually a Quarkus injection. And since we are here, let me just try and run it. So where's my JavaFX? There we go. Here. And just do it's going to open it here. So you see, this is Java code with some Quarkus REST clients and JavaFX code. And if I run this, I'm just going to kill the other Quarkus app that's running. And I do Quarkus dev and start it up. It should come up there. This is now a Quarkus app fetching people, but this is actually JavaFX. So again, this is in the community. So I always kind of wanted to do it, but never got around to it. But someone actually took the idea, run with it, and as you saw, there's actually a release of it recently, which I need to try out. But one of the things I don't have in this demo is that it actually works in dev mode, so you can actually do hot reload of these things. So if you're into JavaFX and want to try Quarkus with it, then there's a way to do so. And let me kill this one again. Just be there. Yeah. So anyway, the technology JavaFX is fairly old and stable and still innovating, but this extension is very new. So do try with care, but try it out if you want to. Again, to summarize, Quarkus has a lot of stuff to do. We have this whole set of extensions that I've been using. There's GitHub, Mailpit, LangChain, ngrok, etc. And it all has this developer experience and features that makes it just super easy. And you saw the code I had was very little, and it's just these features, because the way Quarkus works, that it has understanding of what you're actually doing and using. It can provide these features with minimal setup and in a good way without overhead. These features, like the Mailpit, is not active in runtime. So you add the extension, it will add a dependency, but your runtime is not penalized for it. And we call that the Quarkus. It's all part of everything Quarkus. And if you go to extension Quarkus.io, you can see and browse all these things. And that actually ends my exploration of the universe. So if there's any questions, I'm here. I hope Iker is still there.
Hey, what's going? I'm back. Hey. So again, just looking here, I think you covered all the questions. So again, thanks so much for your time. Amazing presentation. I really like the effects. Actually, I will play with that one. That one gave me some ideas to play around. Yeah. I watched the insights from the JFS as I really like as well, that one. Yeah. So those are the two things that I should play for fun. And again, really thanks for your presentation. It was really lovely. And if you watch this on demand, please go on Quarkus Club, tag Max there. He's there. He's more than happy to help you with questions and help you somehow. Stay tuned because we are going to have a next calls here. I think the next one, no, not think. The next one is 7th of August or August 7th. Not this Wednesday. The following one is going to be a warm-up for a TDC, a conference in Brazil. It's going to be with Bruno Alves. And then we have Barslow and Juarez. So 2 presentations. So you can check on YouTube already. It's there. You can follow up and see the schedule. And I will be back soon, I guess, 2 weeks' time with another person. And if you want to see someone here, please put in the comments who you want to see here. If you want to see Clement talking about virtual threads, hey, Clement, we want you here. You can ask Max as well for poking him. And anyway, if you want to see any special topic, please let us know. And we are going to try to bring people to talk about the topic. Or if you want to see someone special, we are going to talk to. Maybe we bring Max again to talk about JBang in the future. Let's see how it goes.
Sure, always.
Yeah, will be nice. So again, thanks for your time and for your content. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye.
Bye-bye.